Okay, let's look at page 36. 36 is where we will take the verb call and we will make one sentence, but we will change the sentence to all of the tenses. The first row of sentences is what we learned in level 2, past, present, future. Let's look first at past. Remember, past is add ed to the verb or a new word. For this verb, it's add ed, called. Here's our sentence. I called the police, or they called the police, or she called the police. If we want to say this sentence in the past but with not, we would say did not. We add the helping verb, the past verb did, with not, and any of the pronouns work. We did not call the police. He did not call the police. It did not call the police. For a question, the helping verb comes first. When we can say for any pronoun, did you call the police? Did she call the police? Did they call the police? Now we're going to take this sentence into present tense. So it's the verb call with I, we, you, they, but with he, she, it, we add s or es. Let's look at the weight of the first sentence. I call the police, or he calls the police. For not, we add the helping verb do. Now, do means present. So, I do not call the police. She does not call the police. For a question, do and does comes first. Do we call the police? Do they call the police? Or does she call the police? Does he call the police? Now, when we take it to future, it's easier. It's just add will. Will call. Any pronoun, I will call, or he will call, she will call the police. Add not, I will not call the police. He will not call the police. Question, will comes first. Will you call the police? Will she call the police? Okay, the next row is continuous. This is where we add ing, something that happens for a longer period of time. So it will be calling. But the way we know if it's in the past is the helping verbs was and were. If we have was or were, we know it's in the past. So here's how it works. We can use the blue pronouns. We were calling the police, or they were calling the police. This time, I goes with the green ones. I was calling the police, or she was calling the police. Same sentences with not. We were not, or he was not. Question again, was and were come first. So were with they. Were they calling the police? Was with he. Was he calling the police? Or she. Was she calling the police? Present, we change helping verbs. Now it's not was, were with calling. It's am, is, are. And we use am with I. So we can say, I am calling the police right now. I'm calling. Or we are calling the police now. Or she is calling the police now. Same thing with not. Same sentence, we just add not after is. I am not, or he is not calling. You are not calling. So after these verbs, am, is, are, the helping verbs, we add not. For a question, the am, is, are comes first. So if we say I am, then the question is, am I calling the police? If we say you are, the question is, are you calling the police? For she, is she calling the police? Future, we add be with will for ing. So we say, we will be calling the police. They will be calling the police. He will be calling the police. For not, we just add not after will not be calling the police. Right after the helping verb comes not. And then for the question, the helping verb comes first. Will you be calling the police? Will she be calling the police? Now, the next row, we're going to add the past participles that you have started to learn. These are many times the same as the past verb, but sometimes there are irregular ones. For this sentence, we will add had. Had, and then the past participle, had called. So the sentence can be, we had called the police, or he had called the police. And then not comes right after the helping verb again. We had not called the police, or he had not called the police. This is something I might say if somebody said, by by the end of the night, had you called the police? No, I had not called by the end of the night, or by the time they got here at a certain time. Okay? Now for a question, we have had comes first. Had we called the police? Had she or he called the police? Okay, present, we're changing to have and has. Same sentence, and we still have called because past participle is the same as past called. So I have called the police, or he has called the police. Not comes right after have and has. I have not called the police. He has not called the police. This is when we say, I have not called yet, or he has not called yet. Question, have and has comes first. Have you called the police yet? Has she called the police yet? Past participle, called. And then will have. With will, it's always have. So I will have called the police. Or with not, they will not have called the police. Or as a question, will comes first. Will he have called the police? Okay, the next row we're going to add calling. This goes back to the ing, not the past participle, but it's had been calling. So we can say, we had been calling the police. And remember, the ing means for a longer period of time. So we could say, all night I had been calling the police, or for a long time she had been calling the police, or had not been calling the police. He had not been, she had not been. Question, had you been calling the police? Had he been calling the police? Then present, you can say, I have been calling the police, maybe this whole time. Or they have been calling the police, but he, she, it has. He has been calling the police. She has been calling the police. Or have or has not been calling the police. And a question, have and has comes first. Have we been calling the police? Has she been calling the police? And then will have been. This is what we say at the end of a long period of time. We could say, by the end of the night, I will have been calling the police. Or he will have been calling or will not have been calling the police. And then question, will comes first. Will they have been calling the police? So we don't say that sentence, those sentences at the bottom very often. They're only in certain circumstances when something has been going on for a long time. Most of our sentences are up in the top with regular past, present, future, and ing. But it's good to know how to change the sentences in every tense.